Today, I'm joined by Arvi Luoma, an executive director at WP Carey, Inc. Today, we'll be talking about investing in Scandinavia, specifically Norwegian commercial real estate. So nice to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
This is such an interesting area of the market. It's not widely talked about. So let's start from the beginning. How did you get interested in investing in commercial real estate there?
Well, the Norwegian market is one in Europe that we've been looking at for quite a long time. However, historically, it's been quite an insular market where property's been traded amongst local institutions and funds. And so we found it very difficult to enter the market. However, what we saw in 2013, 2014 was that a lot of the funds were net sellers of real estate. And so that gave us the opportunity to start to see attractive opportunities, and we jumped at it.
What surprised you most once you got into the market and really got a good look at it?
I think what surprised us most was the prevalence of long-term net leased real estate in the market. Corporates seem very comfortable to sign up to their properties for a long period and comfortable to look after them as though they were an owner-occupier. So this very much was in line with WP Carey's investment strategy. What
characteristics set Norway apart from other markets?
So I can only really speak vis-a-vis my experience in other European markets that we operate in. But Norway is certainly one of the more efficient markets for us to invest in. And that is a similar case across the entire of the Nordics, such as Sweden and Finland, where we also have assets.
What is the potential return on investment?
It's tough to say. I think the important factors to take into account are that Norway is one of the world's wealthiest countries. It's one of the strongest economies in Europe. So if we're taking a long-term view, with the net migration, immigration of people, population growth, for example, in Oslo is expected to be 20% over, or 20 or 30% over the next 20 years. We should see increased demand for real estate and value growth there.
I'd like to hear about one of your investments in Norway. You invested $114 million in a Total property.
This transaction was an interesting opportunity. Stavanger is the oil and gas, or considered the oil and gas capital of Europe, and Total had operated from this site for the best part of 30 years, if I recall correctly. As part of a recent critical expansion at the site, Total had also extended their lease term. So this transaction had all the ingredients of an opportunity that would meet WP Carey's investment criteria almost perfectly. Total is a very strong credit. It's one of the oil and gas super majors. The lease term was extended, and it was 17 years remaining with annual indexation and on a triple net basis. And finally, it was clearly a critical asset for Total, which is something we're always looking for in our investments.
What advice would you give future investors in Norway?
As I mentioned before, Norway has always been quite an insular market. I think it would be important for any new entrants to the market to get to know the local market players and advisors, and really get to understand the nuances of the markets themselves. As with any other market, once you've analyzed the real estate, you've analyzed the value of the real estate to occupiers, then I think one needs to make a call and be able to move swiftly and execute a transaction effectively.
Arvi Luoma, thank you so much for your time.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
I'm Rhonda Schaffler for The Deal.